What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I had to make this video regarding just basically what I've seen, give you the Ego thoughts regarding it. And that's basically regarding some boxing politics. And you'll probably see a couple of videos coming out from my way, just venting, talking about different aspects of boxing politics. First, I want to shout out my brothers over there at Boxing Fanatic. They have a great Instagram page, so make sure you check them out. They're the ones responsible for this graphic. As you can tell, it has Showtime, Golden Boy, and TMT staying afloat. And then there's a ship that looked kind of like the Titanic with Top Rank and HBO Boxing, and it's just slowly sinking. And then you have SMS Promotion, 50 Cent, and of course Don King. I don't even know. I know he's been in the business for quite some time, but I don't even know who's with Don King. I don't even know who he has. I think he has Tavoris Cloud, who got beat up by Bernard Hopkins and embarrassed, and then got really beat up by Adonis Stevenson. So he's just been MIA. And they're at the clear bottom. So I want to talk about Top Rank, HBO, Showtime, the networks. As you guys know from my last video, Adonis Stevenson looks like he has separated from HBO just like everyone else with Al Heyman, everyone else with Golden Boy. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous from a fan's sake that based on boxing and the current scope of boxing, us fans get fucked over. There's a lot of great matches, and you see these matches in like the UFC when the fans start really craving a match. Usually, soon thereafter, it happens. But in boxing, it's almost the exact opposite. They wait till motherfuckers don't even care about the match, and then it's made. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll try to, if Marquez beats Alvarado, they'll probably try to make Eric Morales versus Marquez. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to see that in the motherfucking '90s when Janet Jackson had red hair and you know what I mean Aaliyah was out. Fuck you trying to come up with this match now. And that's kind of what it is. Juanma Lopez and Yuri Ortiz Gamboa. Yeah, they both are active fighters, but Gamboa's been inactive as shit and the public hasn't heard from him. He had some recent spotty performances. Juanma Lopez got destroyed by Orlando Salido twice, and he was in a tough fight just in the rematch with De Leon, even though he was able to stop him. I don't care about that match now. And that's what happens. Even the Pacquiao Mayweather, if Mayweather and Pacquiao win their respective fights coming up in April and May, I'll watch it, but at the same time, it can't duplicate the fight taking place in 2008 to 2010. It's just not the same fight. And I think like far too many times the fans suffer, and HBO is making some suspect decisions, letting all of this talent disappear. And I told you this last year when they first separated from Al Heyman, the Golden Boy, and Floyd Mayweather jumped ship. And I told you that this would be the case. Some of you guys are like, "You're a dumb ego. You're an idiot. You don't know." And it's looking solely like this picture. It looks like that's kind of where we're headed, to the point where Showtime is gonna, you know what I mean, take the baton and pass HBO. Not maybe not in programming and original programming or something, because HBO has a lot of, they got Game of Thrones and Boardwalk Empire and all these shows. The one with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, True Crime or whatever the shit's called. So I think HBO will be all right, but when it comes to boxing, it's starting to get surpassed, and it's because look at the difficulty. Their main promoter is Top Rank, and I have nothing against Top Rank, but let's be honest, Top Rank has a lot of quality fighters who are kind of on their way out that work with Top Rank and or HBO. Sergio Martinez just recently said openly that his family wants him to retire after the Cotto fight. We don't even know what will happen in the Cotto fight. It's boxing. Cotto has a chance in there. So let's say Cotto stops him, then yeah, he's really going to get pushed towards retirement. So he's like 40, 41. Marquez is like 40, 41. Been active pro fighter since like 93. Been in wars. Pacquiao, his career's really hanging on by a thread. He had the solid win against Brandon Rios, but it was a tune-up fight. Guy coming up in weight, and people give him credit for that because he was very dominant and he didn't have to look as good as he did against a relentless pressure fighter with the chin, and he dominated that fight. But even if he beats Timothy Bradley convincingly in the rematch or stops him or whatever, he's still nearing the end or final chapters of his career. And that's a lot of the talent over there. Alvarado is fighting Marquez. I mean, it's a do or die fight for him. He just got stopped by Ruslan. He had a very difficult fight with Brandon Rios that he was avenging a loss to Brandon Rios, and he had a war with Bradis Prescott, and he started boxing late. So how long? You know what I mean? After all these wars, how long do you think these fighters can still go? Juanma Lopez, same deal. Yes, he's off a win, but he just got thoroughly destroyed by Orlando Salido twice, and then Mikey Garcia pieced him up, and he looked bad. And he looked good in the De Leon fight, but he also had some problems, you know what I'm saying, in that fight as well, in the rematch. So you look at their stable, and it's like, where do they go from here? Lomachenko is a guy that Top Rank rushed per Lomachenko's orders. They were like, oh, they gave into his demands. They were like, I guess that was one of the stipulations for Lomachenko signing, that his career would get that expedited, you know what I mean, next day delivery type of service. And yep, he got that next day delivery. And then he went against a tough and rugged guy in Orlando Salido. Now he's 1-for-1 as a pro. So you got a guy who has all these amateur accolades, but the amateurs and the pro game, two different things. Now he's 1-1. So I seen some skill in there. I seen his skill set, but his pro career remains to be seen. There's a lot of people on a, you know what I mean, on a amateur level that go up into a professional league, be it boxing, be it basketball or whatever, and they're not the same character that they were at a college level or at the amateur level. You know what I mean? They were amateur standouts. Look at Harrison, Audley Harrison. He had Olympic background and everything, and who does he beat? You know what I mean? He got destroyed by really all the heavyweights of note. So Top Rank, I think they're going to be hurting, especially with HBO kind of distancing itself from all Al Heyman, all Golden Boy fighters, because you look at their stable, who do they have? Brandon Rios, another fighter who was dominated, and I like Brandon Rios. He's a very fan-friendly type of style to watch, but he was dominated by Pacquiao. Just before that, he lost to um, Alvarado in a rematch in a close fight. So it's like these recycled rematches is all that they really have left. And Brandon Rios, I mean, if he loses his next fight, that's pretty much a. Look at everyone on the Top Rank fucking like stable. And I use Top Rank because that's the main promotional entity that HBO has. So everyone, if you really look at all their stars and their star power, their careers are really hanging on by a thread. Marquez just got outclassed and lost to Timothy Bradley. So he's off of a loss and he's older. Pacquiao, he has one win and he got knocked out before that. He lost to Timothy Bradley before that. And then he had a third Marquez fight before that, which a lot of people thought he should have lost and thought it was a robbery. So it's really imperative that he beats Bradley and does it in a dominant fashion. And that's a difficult fight. Then you look at Brandon Rios. He lost his last two fights. And one was a domination, and that was by Pacquiao. You look at Mike Alvarado. He got stopped by Brandon Rios, had a difficult fight with Brandon Rios in the rematch, and then Ruslan ran through him, Ruslan Provodnikov. So it's just, it's crazy. And then now Ruslan is kind of like the Keith Thurman over there at Top Rank, where he's such a spoiler, and he has this devastating, relentless power and whatnot. And I'm not saying Keith Thurman fights like Ruslan, so save the dumb comments. But what I am saying is he's a spoiler. If you put him in there, he always has a chance. He has that aggressive style, and he has that dynamite. So he's always dangerous. So from a boxing standpoint, it's like it's not necessarily safe to put your dog in the same kennel as Ruslan or as Keith Thurman. But the thing with Keith Thurman is he's over at Golden Boy. Golden Boy can afford to stall Keith Thurman's career and, you know what I mean, and build up some confidence in Adrian Broner or whoever, you know what I mean. They still got Kell Brooks and Sean Porters and Paulie Malignaggi's. There's a lot of ways you can mix and match those different people. So if Keith Thurman, and I'm not saying it's right because it's not, and I already made a video about this, but if they stall his career and have him fighting less than stellar step up competition, they have the stable to do that, because when he's ready, they can still put, you know what I mean, they can keep putting him in there with guys like Josito Lopez if he wins his next fight. There's tons of people where they can, you know what I mean, they can even have a Diego Chavez rematch or something Whereas Top Rank, they're running out of opponents, and since that's the case, they don't really want to put Ruslan in there with a Pacquiao because they know if he does somehow beat Pacquiao, it's going to be by brute force, and that's their cash cow. Same thing with Marquez. They're trying to make a rematch with Bradley if Bradley wins, or one with Pacquiao if Pacquiao wins. Putting Ruslan in there is it's dangerous. You know what I mean? He could be a spoiler. He could, if he, you know what I mean, if he has the right game plan, he could take any of those dudes out. You know what I mean, on any given night based on that power. So it's just not looking good for HBO and Top Rank. And then the Kovalev Stevenson fight. And as much as that irks me and bothers me, Stevenson still has more options, I feel, on the Showtime side than he does on the HBO side. The biggest fight and the best fight, in my opinion, is Kovalev Stevenson, without a shadow of a doubt. But even if he doesn't fight them, he could still fight a Bernard Hopkins, Shumanov, Winner. There's still other guys. So they have a couple different ways they can mix and match him. So let me know what you guys think. Is HBO sinking? Is it kind of going down? Really, they got to rely on unproven talent. People like Lomachenko and Felix Verdejo. I'm not saying these guys can't be great, because it sounds like they are the goods and it sounds like they do have the skill to pull it off. But seeing is believing, and you got to prove that. There's a lot of people that they look good to the eye test or given the competition, but then when they step up to the world class level, it's a different ball game. So I have faith in them that they'll do good and, you know what I mean, be able to make a good name. But it's still, this is all speculation until I actually see Felix in there with sturdy competition, till I see Lomachenko beat someone of note, you know what I mean, like a Gary Russell Jr. or whatever. And then furthermore, the last thing I'll say is if you look at Top Rank, another reason why it's kind of bringing the HBO ship down, the fighters that they do have that are or could be dangerous or have a healthy career, it's like you don't know if they want to keep fighting. Like guys like Nonito Donaire, we don't even know if he has the passion anymore. Or you look at a guy like Rigondeaux, and Top Rank shits on him. You know what I mean? They don't even give him any love. That's a fighter that's working with Top Rank or whatever, and you talk shit every time he has an appearance. Oh, he's barring. I can't sell this. Bob Arum and all that. So you shit on the skillful guys that you do have that have the potential to be, you know what I mean? Like Rigondeaux has the potential to be a dominant force in his divisions, like in or around his divisions, and be that Mayweather in the lighter divisions. He has that. He's that good, in my opinion, in terms of his skill set. And you shit on him. Then you got a guy like Nonito Donaire. Like I said, we don't even know if he cares about boxing anymore. He hasn't looked like in his last two fights with Donaire and Rigo, or his fight with Vic Darcini in the rematch. He doesn't look like he has that same hunger. So we're going to see. Everything's going to see. We'll see how everything unfolds or whatnot. But it's not looking good for HBO Top Rank. They're losing too much talent. And Showtime and Golden Boy, Mayweather Promotions, they're joining forces. They're strength in numbers. And they're working with Al Heyman and monopolizing the fuck out of boxing. No matter how much I hate the good fights not happening, there's still more power and potential fights. You still got guys at Golden Boy Showtime like Canelo, who, you know what I mean, he could fight Allura. And if he wins, then he's really a superstar. He's already a superstar and could put ass in the seat. Had a sturdy number in his first pay-per-view performance, 350,000 buys. That wasn't that much less than what Bradley and Marquez did. So there's some star power over there. Adrian Broner, every time I make a video, it gets views. People always entertain conversations on those videos. So Broner is still marketable, whether you think he's overhyped or a bum. People still love to hate him, and they still continue to talk about him. Mayweather, same thing. So I think there's a lot of different ways, and there's talent they can groom. You got the Charlo brothers who can come into their own and start being a force. There's a lot of different people. So let me know what you guys think. Top Rank, Golden Boy, HBO, Showtime. Who's winning right now? And do you see HBO remaining number one or taking a back seat based on what's happening in the fighters that they lost? Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.